What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Can't believe it's already January 11th. I feel like I just turned 35. I mean, I did actually, but I feel like I just turned 35 and it's already crazy that it's like almost 6 days later. I wanted to come on and talk about how your mind is too idle. What do I mean by that? If I'm being totally honest with you, I suffered probably for the past 5 years, maybe not recently, but for 5 years, I suffered with depression and anxiety, especially after my dad passed away. And the reason why, what's up, Bruno? The reason why I did is because my mind was too idle. My mind was idled on being a victim. My mind was idled on poor me mentality, on how everything is happening to me, right? Versus getting off my butt and actually going to work and actually finding a purpose and looking at myself. And I blamed a lot of people. And I truly believe that when your mind is too idle, when you think too much, when you're listen, I think there's a benefit to thinking. There is a benefit to being logical. There's also a benefit to being creative and having an imagination, right? Personally, I like to live more in the imagination and the creative side because for me, it keeps me out of that idle mind, right? What's up, Kate? So to me, when your mind is too idle, it causes that depressive state. It causes that state of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, right? And then what happens is that you start to have those downward thoughts, that spiraling thought. And I tell people all the time, all my clients, right? I tell them constantly, when your mind is idle, you're going to have those negative thoughts. And to me, it's just as easy to have a positive thought as it is to have a negative thought. It's just like when you wake up in the morning, you can either decide and choose to have a happy life and choose to be thankful for living a happy life, or you can choose to be a loser. Sorry to put it, kind of bluntly, but you can choose to be a loser and be depressed. And even depression, to me, depression is a choice. You have chosen to be depressed, or you have chosen to be anxious, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Like I think this is where I think anxious thoughts, they come up, and until you acknowledge, yeah, I'm anxious, and until you acknowledge what the anxiety is coming from, you won't get to the root. I think so many people, like I heard this the other day. I can't remember who I heard it from. Who was it that I heard that from? It was basically this. When you have a thought, like let's say you come in and somebody like comes into my office and I say, hey, how's it going? And what is our usual typical response? Anybody? When I say, hey, how's it going? What do you usually say? Anybody? Kate, Bruno? Anybody? What do you usually say? I'm gonna see if anybody, yep, good, I'm good. Good isn't an emotion. It's so passive, it means nothing, right? When you say, I actually feel excited. I actually feel motivated today. Or you can say, I'm really overwhelmed. I'm doing this and this and this. That's an actual, I'm fantastic always. All right, Bruno, whatever, you're rude. I mean, I'm usually always fantastic, but again, Bruno, that's a choice, right? So the reason why I say this is because I get a lot of clients that come in the door and they go, I'm good. And I've started to say, it's not an emotion. You're being passive. You are not actually acknowledging how you feel right now. What you're saying is, I don't. To me, anyway, when I hear that, I now go. Now that I heard this, I can't remember who I heard it from. I'm gonna have to remember and search who I heard it from. I think it was a. No, I'm not even gonna try and guess because I'm not gonna remember. So I'm not gonna even do it a disservice. But it was just so powerful because I literally thought to myself, wow, like how many times do I say, I'm good, I'm all right, I'm good. That's not an actual like emotional thing, right? But when you can say, I'm really anxious, I'm looking to expand, I'm looking to do all these things, and I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Like there's a lot that like a lot of moving parts and what have you. Somebody can actually go, oh yeah, I've been there, or I know that, or what have you. It's like when you just say, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm whatever, that's not you actually expressing how you feel. You just are going through your unconscious, and this is where I'm going to get, this is where kind of where I'm going with this, is you become so unconscious in life, right? I tell people all the time, are you ever in a grocery store, right? Let's say you eat, I don't really eat salad, but let's say you're eating salad a lot, right? And you get to the grocery store and your body, like your natural instinct is, yeah, I don't really want that. But you get it anyway. And then for a week you're bloated, or for a week you're like unsatisfied. I tell people you have gotten so unconscious, because if you can't go into a store, right? And you can't say, like, there's certain things that I eat every day, but there are certain things that I'm like, yeah, I don't really need a salad. I don't need to eat the greens. I'm good. Every now and then I'll be like, do I need it? I'll ask myself the conscious question, do I need this right now? Does my body need this right now? And almost always it'll either say yes or it'll say no. And how does it do that? It kind of just goes, ugh. Like, for example, I love avocados. Like, I love them, right? I love them. But as opposed to just going into a grocery store idly and going, oh, I don't really care. Oh, whatever, no big deal. Let me just get the same thing I usually get, blah, 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 right? All that stuff. I started to go, do I actually want an avocado? Do I actually want that? And guess what? I haven't wanted an avocado. And I bought, like 2 weeks ago, I bought like 4 of them, and they all went bad because I was like just not in it. I just didn't want it, right? But we are so like torn apart from how we genuinely feel, how our bodies actually are currently in this state of presence, that it just has gotten so unconscious. We are just kind of like moving through life versus asking ourselves questions. And I'm saying, ask yourself everything. And people say like that's talking to God, right? I do that. I talk to God about everything, because if you don't, that is true connection to soul, true connection to, in my opinion, to your body, mind, soul, spirit, all of that, right? So if you're always asking questions, I believe you will always get the answer, right? And you will have more power, because then you are actually being connected to your environment and to your body and all of that, and to your mind. You're actually making your mind do work versus just automatically moving through life. And so I find that a lot of people just idly, like, walking through life, they're in the car, and as opposed to like looking up, by the way, look up, guys, there's chemtrails and they've been poisoning you for years, but nobody wants to look up at the sky. You see those lines in the sky? Stop being so unconscious and think to yourself, oh, yeah. And then you're like, the next day you're like, oh my God, the weather is really affecting me. No, 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 no. I need you to bring conscious thought back into your body, and I need you to think to yourself, what is that? Don't just assume what you've been told, which is, oh, it's a jet stream. I need you to start doing some work, right? This is where people say, how do you know so much? Because I put the work in, right? Everyone wants this smart work. Everyone wants to work 2 hours a day and blah, blah, blah. Guys, that is not reality. That is them wanting you to just sit idly by and be automatic and not care about your life, and then be a victim to your choices and to your mind, right? I tell you, the way to get out of depression, the way to get out of anxiety, the way to get out of all these low vibrational states is to start connecting to yourself. Start asking yourself questions. The more you ask yourself questions, the more you are going to see a massive change in your life. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but over time, you're going to start going, wow, like my whole life has just kind of changed. What's going on here, right? Like, I'm making more money. I have more relationships. I have deeper connection with people. I have deeper connection with myself. I'm sleeping better. And it's because you're stopping the anxious thought. You're not even allowing your thoughts to go idle, to go into that space of anxiety, right? When I hear, like, I had a client yesterday who came in, has had sinus problems. We basically got to the bottom of that, right? Sinuses are almost clear at this point, which is amazing. And then she goes, I haven't been able to take a deep breath in years. And I thought to myself, well, part of that is probably the fact that you couldn't breathe through your nose, right? And so you're always mouth breathing. Mouth breathing will always cause that anxiety to happen, right? So then I put a little foam ball on her stomach just to kind of go, let's see if you can breathe into this. And she could, but it gave her massive amounts of anxiety. And then I said, do you find yourself bracing all the time? Like, do you find yourself holding your core, holding in your stomach all the time? She said, no. And I said, in my head, I'm thinking to myself, really? So I did some fascial work on her, and I was like holding her between her stomach and her back. And I literally just went, all right, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to start breathing, right? And guys, when I tell you, if my hands were here, this is how much she took a deep breath. That's how little she was breathing. And she was like, and I was like, you don't know how to let go of your stomach, right? And that is most people. We are so conditioned and trained to not let go of our stomach because we need to look a certain way, or we need to, we need to stay in control. Because guys, when you hold on to the core like that, when you're always gripping like that, you're never releasing. You're never allowing your body to let go. This is why people are full of shit, quite literally, right? You're so afraid to just take a deep breath. You're so scared of it. Okay. So this is my solution. I put my hands on her back and on her stomach. And when I did that, okay, I told her, you're not breathing. She was like, what do you mean? It's like, you are bracing. She's like, no, I'm not. I said, show me what you feel like bracing is, or what you think letting go feels like. And guys, when I tell you, it was like, if this hand was her stomach, it was like this. Holy hell. I was like, no. I'm going to push in, and I want you to breathe so intensely and intently into my hand. And then it was like this. And she was like, I've never done that. I was like, I know. I know. Suck it in. I remember, yep, suck it in, y'all. Hold it in, right? Breathe in, hold, grip. You're not allowed to show anyone. You guys need to learn how to let go. And I'm not saying it's always easy, but if there's one thing, I don't have it in here, but I use literally like a little foam ball. You could probably even use a pillow. And I just teach my body to let go. And sometimes when I know I'm not like going to the bathroom, I'm not passing a bowel well enough, I will literally lay on a ball, like on a foam ball or on a pillow, and just let my stomach relax. Because this is the problem, is that we're being hit so much with stress and all these things, and you're not running from stress. And I don't like the word stress management. I think it's completely screwed up. Who wants to manage that? I don't want to mitigate it because I think there is healthy stress. However, when you are allowing yourself to acknowledge stressful situations and respond better to stress, you are able to actually breathe through that, right? So it's pretty wild when I started doing fascia work on people, especially on their stomach and their abdominal area, how much people go, oh my God, I've literally never taken a deep breath. And I'm like, I'm aware. So if there's anything I can tell you, it's two things. Your mind is too idle. So stop having, I don't want to say stop because that's such a negative way to say it, but start thinking positive thoughts and start remembering and reminding yourself that it's just as easy to have a positive thought as it is to have a negative thought, right? It's just as simple, right? And you just have to start writing down. If you know you have negative thoughts, start writing down those negative thoughts. Look at that and go, would I talk to myself, to my other friends like this? Would I speak like this to my friends? Hell no, I wouldn't, right? I would be honest with people, but I would never speak ill of someone. I would never do that in an intentional way, right? So now I want you to start looking at yourself and going, I can't believe I actually speak to myself like that. That's pretty screwed up, because it is screwed up. It's so screwed up, okay? Stop speaking to yourself so negatively. You are worth more than that. And the second that you can start speaking to yourself on a powerful in a powerful way, you're going to watch your whole life change. But you need to do it. No one else can do that for you. I can tell you to do it, and I can like force you to write it down as a coach. But on you, this is where you need to take your life back into your own hands. You have more power than you think you do. Okay. So I want to leave you with that. I want you to know that you have way more support. You just need to look for it, right? Right now, if you're in that depressed, anxious, woe is me space, and you should just start thinking of all the people you have in your life, of all the people that are good in your life, of all the things that are working for you as opposed to against you. And you will literally watch yourself and your life change like this, okay? It might take a little bit more time than you think, because it's nothing worthwhile is easy. That's a lesson that I've learned in the past couple of years, that nothing worthwhile is easy. So stop thinking about this. We need to really move past this quick and easy fix type mentality. We need to move past this everything it should be easy, because everything worthwhile, in my opinion, good health, good friendships, good relationships, good community, that stuff is built over time, and it is built with consistent work and consistent consciousness of asking yourself and asking people questions, versus thinking you know everything, because you don't, thinking you're an expert in everything, because you're not. The second you think you're an expert, to me, you just literally failed yourself, because you have so much to learn. If you're not learning every single day, again, idle mind, because you think you're so good at everything. This is where I'm going to tell you, stop thinking that you're so good. Stop thinking you're a specialist, an expert, all these things. Start doing some work, start researching, start reading, right? That is the fastest way to true abundance, to true being in your own frame, and to being secure in yourself. But until you get past that point of victimhood, it will never happen. Okay. Be well. Have a great day. Remember to honor your health in some way today and every day. All right, guys. Peace. Much love.